Well, hello everyone. I decided to pop back on because I had one of those technological issues. So I decided to pop back on again and talk about this topic today, which is why your IUI or your IVF may have failed, and get into that. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mara Salerno, and I am a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner of reclaimoptimalhealth.com, where I help couples just like you resolve their infertility and get back to creating those families you so deeply desire. And before we start, I just want to wish all of you a really wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. I hope that it is filled with love and relaxation and calm. And I hope you're not having to deal with lots of stress and intensity. So try to take good care of yourself and utilize it as an opportunity for self-care. And I hope you're surrounded by people that you really feel loved by. So I just want to let you all know that talking about IUI and IVF not being successful can be a really challenging topic because there is so much emotion around it, and how could there not be, right? But there are a lot of things that we can do to help turn things around for you. When it comes to your fertility, to conception, to being able to hold a pregnancy and hold that pregnancy to full term and have a healthy baby. Now, this is really in part one of my fertility success program, is where I review basically what's going on with a client, do full investigation as to why whatever they've been up to hasn't been working. So in today's case, we're talking about IUI and IVF, okay? And why it hasn't been successful for you yet. So thanks to all of you for joining in. For those of you who are here, if you have any questions, they can be in regards to what we're talking about why maybe your IUI or IVF failed, but also anything else in regards to your fertility that you have questions about, you want support on, you want some answers. So you can just drop them in the comments box and I'll be happy to answer them as we go along here. So when I go through the first step of my program with my clients, what I am looking for is, okay, well, their IUI and or their IVF failed. Well, why did that happen? So one of the key reasons that this happens is because my clients have not been able to identify their own unique stressors. So I get a lot of flack about this on social media. You know, stress is not the number one cause of infertility. Yes, it is. So, Nicole, I'll get right to your question. Just give me one moment. But stress is the number one cause of infertility. And the reason is because stress is the same word as inflammation. Okay. So we're all just getting stuck on linguistics and language, but stress really is the number one cause of infertility. And there's a lot of different stressors, right? So infertility does cause emotional and spiritual upset, that's for sure. But we may have had some of those things as well before. So there's that. But there's also biomechanical stressors. So like your body aches and pains, things that are going on like chronic pain factors. Maybe you had a bad injury, a sports injury. Maybe you have pain in your body and you never even had an injury and you don't understand why it's there. So that is a biomechanical stressor that can be wreaking havoc on your fertility. And also a biochemical stressor. What are biochemical stressors? They are things like pathogens. So things like candida or worms or parasites. And people are always shocked when I say this. They're like, really? That can affect my fertility? Yes. 99.9% of my clients suffer from pathogens. And pathogens do a whole slew of things. But one of the aspects that it can do is it really makes your immune system go hyperactive. Okay. And this can really be an issue when we're talking about either those who have autoimmunity, or even if you don't have autoimmunity and you're having issues with miscarriage. Because we know that 80 to 90% of our immune system is secreted in our guts. So if you've got a pathogenic infection, 9 times out of 10, most of it is living in your gut, but it can go, through the bloodstream as well. But this is going to heighten your immune system. And we know that when a baby is trying to, snuggle up against the uterus, right? Well, what happens is our bodies naturally find that this is like an invader, and our immune system kind of gets activated and wants to attack, but only to a certain extent. Well, if your immune system is so hyperactive and so sensitive, and it's just like on high alert, well, it's going to be really hard for you to hold a baby to full term. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So pathogens are a stressor, a biochemical stressor. Looking at, of course, hormone imbalance, that's kind of a duh one, right? But also heavy metals and mineral imbalances, looking at food sensitivities. All of these are part of the investigation that I utilize to help women and men like maybe you that are struggling with infertility and can't figure out what's going on, because you're going to your fertility doc, your conventional doc, and they're like, even your naturopath, and they're like, well, I don't know. I mean, everything's look normal. I don't know why you can't conceive. I don't know why you can't bring a baby to full term. And you're like frustrated over here because you don't feel great and you don't know what to do. And you know something is obviously off because your body's not doing what you know it can do. So drop a yes in the comments box if this makes sense to you. Nicole, you were asking, can you have a false negative after 14 days after an IUI? Hey, anything is possible. And the reason I say that is because no test is perfect. I mean, even a functional lab test, no test is going to be perfect. So it's hard to say. I don't want to create any hardship for you in your mind, but anything is possible. So there is that number one aspect of not being able to identify your unique stressors. So that's number one, why your IUI or your IVF may have failed. Because they improve your egg quality and your ability to hold a pregnancy to full term, right? So if you go have a procedure, yes, of course, Nicole, it's my pleasure. If you go in to have a fertility procedure and you don't have good solid egg quality, which you can create naturally, no one else can do that, but you can do that. I want to empower you to do that. Okay. Then, you're going in and you're throwing darts in the dark. You need to take a rest from the fertility methods, improve your nutrition, reduce your stressors, and in this way, improve your odds, okay? And many times you will find that you may even conceive naturally and hold the pregnancy naturally to full term. Now, that doesn't always happen, but it's shocking how many times it can happen if you just take a little bit of time and due diligence to do that work. So, so valuable and important. I can't say that enough. Now, lastly, number three, the third reason that your IUI or your IVF may have failed that I oftentimes see is that you are taking a boatload of supplements that you don't need. So, hi, Camila. Yes, I'm not going to lie, like in my practice, when I'm working with clients, there is a lot of supplements that you need to utilize because there's a lot of imbalances going on in the body. And we utilize those supplements to help you reclaim your fertility much more efficiently and quickly so that you can move on your way, right? And sometimes there's no way you'll get out of some of these imbalances without that support. So making sure that you're taking the right supplements for you instead of Googling and going, what are the supplements I need to take because I'm struggling with infertility? And then going online and buying all those supplements and taking them all. Well, you've got a few issues. Number one is some of those supplements may actually be causing you more harm than good because you haven't done proper lab work, okay? Number two is you may be so sensitive to a particular ingredient and not even know it. And then you take these things and you're like, you don't even feel any better. And you're like, what's going on here? And you're not addressing your unique issues. So just because you and several other women are experiencing infertility, the reasons for that infertility may be very different. One woman's having thyroid issues. Yes, there's gut health involved with that. Okay, fine. And then there's mineral imbalances involved with that, but very particular minerals. And her thyroid is a very particular way. So she needs very particular nutrients for her thyroid. It's not always just synthroid. Okay, it could be iodine, could be selenium, could be zinc, but not everybody needs the same thing. So I want you to really understand that it's very unique to you. And doing proper investigation is really important. So just let me recap for a moment. So why your IUI or IVF may have failed is because number one, you have not identified your unique stressors. Okay. Number two is making sure that you've done the proper lab testing and investigation and improving your lifestyle so that you can improve your egg quality and improve your chances for holding that baby to full term, having a healthy baby. And then number three is really about getting your supplementation right for you. Okay. I have another question here. Do people who are overweight have trouble getting pregnant? Yes, they can. Does that mean that everyone who's overweight has an issue? No, because we know that the crackhead down the street can get pregnant, right? I mean, it happens. But yes, if you are overweight, it can make a lot of problems. And I'll tell you why. Namely, it's because of the insulin resistance that happens. Now, maybe you have been diagnosed with diabetes or not, it doesn't really matter. But when you have high blood sugar levels in your body or even erratic blood sugar levels in your body, it's going to create a chronic stress response. And let me explain to you why this is really important. Because in your brain, when your brain starts to understand that you are experiencing stress. So normally that would be from running from a tiger or we're in traffic in our cars and things like that, right? We get activated and the brain sends a signal to our adrenals, okay? And the adrenals are right above the kidneys and it pumps out cortisol. And cortisol is our stress hormone, right? It gets us going, our pupils get dilated, we get energy, and we get a rise in blood sugar, okay? So what happens is when you are overweight and your diet is not intact, what will tend to happen is you have this constant blood sugar rise or blood sugar imbalance in your body. So what happens is your brain will perceive that as a chronic stress response. It gets stuck. It doesn't know how to turn off and be relaxed you anymore. It's in the stress state of you, okay? So it keeps going on this cycle, boom, boom, boom. Well, between your diet and your stress response, your blood sugar levels are out the roof and it's difficult for you to lose weight. Is this maybe an issue for you? Do you have a difficult time losing weight? I'll wait for that answer. Hopefully we'll get one. So this can be a really big deal because your brain is the signaler of all your hormones. So cortisol being your stress hormone, yes, it's not estrogen and progesterone, but what it will do is your brain will be off kilter. It's not functioning right. So your ovaries as well will not be producing the right amount of hormones, right? So we get an imbalance there as well. Now, that's one difficulty with being overweight. Another one is that your fat cells will hold on to a lot of chemicals and toxins. And we know that chemicals and toxins are really, really disruptive to your hormones, okay? And we know our hormones obviously are involved in reproduction. Yeah, Nicole, I was asking, is weight something that you struggle with? Is it difficult for you to lose the weight? So I want to encourage all of you really to get off the wheel of reproduction, okay? Which means I don't want you to get on the factory wheel of the fertility clinic and take a break. Take 6 months. I promise you, you will have improvements and you will get closer to your baby this way. I see. So you have tried to lose weight, but you were diagnosed with PCOS. Okay. Yeah. So with PCOS, we've got several issues going on, right? If you go to my IGTV, I've got a couple of really great videos on PCOS that I highly recommend you check out. And so, yeah, there's hormonal imbalance, but what is the cause of that hormonal imbalance? Looking to the gut and also looking to this brain signaling and the blood sugar issues. If you haven't run a Dutch test, I would highly recommend it. I have a video on the Dutch test if you kind of want to take a tour and see what it's like. But this kind of brings me to that if any of you need support, you're ready to kind of take the leap and get support with your fertility struggle so you can get closer to your baby and your dream family, then you can either go to my link in my bio on Instagram and you can sign up for a qualifying call there, and I'll have you fill out a form and we'll get together on an appointment time that you schedule and talk about how we can get you closer to your baby and let me get to know you a little bit more and hear your story in depth. So for any of you who want to do that, you can find that there, or you can just go to my website. It's reclaimoptimalhealth.com/schedule now. And you can find that there. And I also have a free fertility starter kit. You can also find that in my link in my bio on Instagram. And in there, I kind of, talk you through really the science, but in very easy lay terms so that you can be empowered and educated about your process, about what's going on with your fertility and why stress is the #1 cause of infertility. And then give you some tips in there of how to turn it around, some lifestyle hacks and tricks that are really useful. There is a food guide in there to get you started on your fertility food diet. And there is a food journal. And there's also a fertility goals chart. So you can put together basically a plan for yourself and start getting going on it. And I want to just remind all of you that it's not about being perfect. It's about getting started, because you don't have to be perfect to get pregnant or stay pregnant. But for some of us, there is some nuggets that we have to just fine tune a bit and get our bodies more prepared and cleaned up. Because I hate to break it to you if you don't already know, we live in a very toxic world. And this toxic world plays a toll on our bodies. And everyone is having some kind of a health issue. And infertility is one of those struggles. So my heart goes out to all of you. I'm going to give you just one moment if you want to drop anything down in the comments below. And again, I wish you all a beautiful Thanksgiving holiday. I hope you do something for yourself, whether it's getting together with family or not, or friends or not, or if you eat turkey or not. It doesn't really matter. Just try to make it non-toxic in every way, from your food to your spirit to your heart. All right, everyone. I'll see you again next Wednesday at 12 p.m. If you have any questions for me, let me know. And Nicole, what I'll do, let me put this in the comments. She was asking me about my website again. Let me put that in there. It's Reclaim Optimal. Sorry for the shakiness, everybody. Health. See if I get this right. Yeah. Nicole, do you see that? Hi, Divika. Okay, gang. Please feel free to contact me in the DMs if you need anything else from me, or you have questions for me. You just want to talk more in private. That's more than fine. All right. I'll talk to you all soon. Ciao.